Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find this and all other episodes of Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. Straight and full Detroit and Michigan sports coverage 100% of the time. If you have any opinions on everything that's going on in the Detroit sports world, call in or send a text message live on the show at 231-429-3668. Also, you can add me on Facebook as Taylor Phillips, online at facebook.com/TaylorGatorPhillips14. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips with 2 L's.
And welcome to episode 145 on Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. First off, we're going to talk about the Red Wings, who won last night 5-2 over the Edmonton Oilers, snapping their 2-game losing streak. The first period was complete garbage. The Edmonton Oilers scored a goal 7 shots in, 2:15 into the game, and the Red Wings had, and at that point the Red Wings had no shots on goal. They trailed 1-0. Pardon me. They trailed 1-0. After one, putting 7 shots on net. Oilers put 14 on Howard. Scrimmins was the starting goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers in that game. But since then, since that first period, the Red Wings started to turn it on a little. Nicholas Kronwall scoring his goal to tie it up at 1, and then Riley Shan with a getting a tic-tac-toe feed from Gustav Nyquist and Henrik Zetterberg, putting the Wings up 2-1. That's how it would be after 2 periods. And then with 9:20 left in the third period, Timu Polkinen got a juicy rebound and wristed one top shelf blocker side past Scrimmins to make it 3-1 Wings. Stayed that way until Henrik Zetterberg committed a very dumb delay of game penalty, lofting the puck from his own end into the seats. That put the Oilers on a 6-on-4 power play with the net empty, and Yakupov found a way to score to make it 3-2 with a shot from the point. And that's a shot that's again one of those shots that the penalty killing unit should have blocked on defense. Then the Oilers had a chance to tie it, but the Red Wings took it the other way, and Justin Applicator scored the empty netter. Scored an empty net goal. Then the Oilers had the net empty again. Datsuk cleared it out and from his own goal line, and it just barely hit into the empty net. For a second empty net goal for the Red Wings, making it 5-2. It was 4-2 before then. Jimmy Howard stood tall. Take a look at the box score real quick. The Red Wings played that game with Stephen Weiss on the bench the entire game. Head coach Mike Babcock decided to bench Stephen Weiss for that game because of his two turnovers on that power play that both led to shorthanded goals for the Bruins in Boston last Sunday early afternoon. Jimmy Howard made 38 saves and Scrimmins made 23. Just got an update that the Grand Rapids Griffins held on to beat the Charlotte Checkers 3-2 at Van Andel Arena. Actually, it was in Charlotte, rather. Not at Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Hornets play NBA basketball. The Oilers were a red-hot team going into that game, winning their past three. And going into that game, the Red Wings have lost 2 straight in regulation for the first time this season. But that snapped now with that 5-2 win. The Wings have off until Thursday when they welcome the Columbus Blue Jackets into Joe Louis Arena. That's at 7:30 on Fox Sports Detroit. That is a day, yet another day the Pistons have off. I'll get to the Pistons later on in this podcast, in this episode. I also heard that the Red Wings and Maple Leafs are expected to revisit a potential trade for defenseman Dion Phaneuf. I heard that in an article somewhere. Looking on my Detroit sports page here. Still looking. I'm going to talk about the Tigers next, by the way. Then I'll talk about the Lions and then the Pistons. That's all I have to talk about. Big Ten tournament starts this week sometime. Michigan starts soon. Michigan State doesn't start until Friday. They have a first round bye and a second round bye. They await to play the winner of one of those games in the semifinals, in the Big Ten tournament semifinal. There it is. from OttawaSun.com, headlined "Cap Scared Many Teams Off Deals." That's the salary cap scared many teams off potential deals. He meant like trades. Written by Bruce Garriock. And somewhere in the middle of this article is a second segment of Off the Glass. Right after the first introduction set of paragraphs. They're like 6 introduction paragraphs. They're all really short, but if you scroll down until the second Off the Glass segment, you'll read something like this. Don't dismiss the talk about Maple Leafs captain Dion Phaneuf being dealt to the Wings. There were serious discussions between the two teams. Those talks were so deep that even Leafs president Brendan Shanahan, a former Detroit Red Wing, my favorite NHL player of all time, may have been with his former team at one point with GM Dave Nonis, Nonis, to see if the deal could come to fruition. There were plenty of names thrown into the mix by the Leafs, including asks for the likes of defenseman Jakob Kindl and Detroit prospect Anthony Mantha. The Wings would have insisted Toronto take back center Stephen Weiss as part of any deal if Detroit was going to take a massive contract like Phaneuf's off the books. With talks going nowhere, the belief is Wings GM Ken Holland felt it would be better for both sides if they revisited this trade in the off season, and that's why he made the deal for New Jersey blue line Marek Zidlitsky. According to a league executive, quote unquote, what usually happens is these trades get too big to do at the deadline. It's okay for the Leafs because they're going nowhere this year and trying to rebuild. The Wings have something pretty good going, unquote. Has to be tough for Phaneuf to swallow because at some point in all this, he would have to approve a move to Detroit. The Ducks and Kings both had interest as well, so let's see what happens in the offseason. The Devils tried to move winger Michael Ryder, but didn't have any bites. Might have helped if they had played him. That's the end of that segment. As other NHL news with this in between. So that's all the Wings talk here. Tigers beat the Blue Jays 6-4 yesterday, and then they blanked the Phillies in Clearwater, Florida today, 6-0. Yesterday's game took place at Joker Marchant Stadium in Lakeland, Florida. Anthony Gose finished 1 for 3 yesterday, had today off, and after suffering 2 bruises in the shin by ground balls, Jose Iglesias finally made his spring training debut, returning to action, finishing 1 for 3 with an RBI infield double. And Alfredo Simon pitched 3 scoreless innings in the 6-0 victory. The Phillies are struggling right now. That was seen on MLB Network. Steven Moya went deep. JD Martinez went deep, and Daniel Fields also hit a 2-run home run to put the Tigers on the board early. Joe Mantiply closed out the 9th. Yesterday, Joe Nathan pitched a cleanly scoreless 5th inning. He has set 9 up and down thus far this spring training. Go to the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Go to the summary. Wait a minute. That's not right. No scoring plays. What are you talking about? Oh, let's see here. Bernard went 1 for 1 with an RBI double. Westlake went 1 for 3. Oh, let's see. Iglesias, Martinez, Moya, Fields, and Bernard. Let me see here. I have it in I have the plays and videos here. Jabba Chamberlain got a Philly batter to pop out. That's Bernard with an RBI triple. Actually,
but it's still in the low
he got Jabba Chamberlain got Carlos Ruiz to fly out to center in the bottom of the 4th inning to end the 4th inning. Actually, the entire 4th inning. Actually. Buck Farmer got an inning in a play, but he struck out Kanzler.
And another break pitch
looking.
Called strike 3. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Buck Farmer.
Pitched a 1-2-3 inning there. Angel Nesbitt also fans Sizemore in another one of those videos. That was the first out of the inning. Al Albuquerque pitched the 5th inning and got a hold. So did Chamberlain. Al Albuquerque struck out 2 Philly batters. Both he and Chamberlain each gave up 1 hit. Chamberlain also walked 1. Alfredo Simon gave up 2 hits, a walk, and he struck out 2 batters, going 3 innings flat. Those are the stats. Tigers head on the road to take on the Washington Nationals at Space Coast Stadium in Viera, Florida. That too is at 1:05. That is tape delayed on MLB Network, but it'll be heard on the radio, on the Detroit Tigers radio network with Dan Dickerson and Jim Price. You can subscribe to MLB.com as a user to listen in, to stream online. You can also do the same. You can do the same thing on the MLB.com at-bat mobile app on your smartphone. I want to talk about Anthony Ghost real quick. How he shows off a new swing written by Jason Beck in same speed versus his former team yesterday. Anthony Ghost worked on his new swing, and it paid off on an infield single. Actually, an infield RBI double, just like Iglesias today, except it deflected. The line drive deflected off Blue Jays starter Daniel Norris's glove, and it went into short left field, and that allowed Rajay Davis to score. And Anthony Ghost showed his speed, making it to second base, stretching it to a double. And he made it without a slide. He made it the rest of the way without a ball in play, scoring a run. His route to third was a daring one, taking off on a ball thrown back to Norris from catcher Deoner Navarro. Norris got the ball and hurried to throw to third, sailing it past Muranori Kawasaki. Given the spot and order, it was a little aggressive, even by the standards of manager Brad Ausmus's green light for his speedster this spring. In a spring training setting, Ausmus will take it. He said, quote, "Realistically, when you have the heart of our order coming up and no outs, it's probably not the ideal time. If you got the bottom of the order up and 1 out, you're a little more willing to take a chance. Really, with Jonas Cespedes up there, I don't want him to not think he can steal a base, but I don't know if that's the way to do it." Unquote. The double was Ghost only hitting 3 at-bats Monday, dropping his Grapefruit League average to .571, 8 for 14. That's still pretty good. That's still very good. He has reached base safely 10 times and scored 6 runs, while going 3 for 3 stealing bases. Ghost said recently, quote, "Right now I'm not really focused on the hits too much. The foundation of it, the mechanics, is really what I want to pay attention to right now, just trying to get these down," unquote. Ausmus said, quote, about his bat speed, "His bat speed's fine. Sometimes he's too quick, not in terms of his bat speed, but in terms of being too quick to the ball, starting too early. Tony Gwynn told me the hardest thing to do is wait on the ball, which sounds counterintuitive when a guy's throwing 97 miles an hour. But when you're geared for a fastball, the hardest thing to do is wait on the off speed, unquote. Ghost said, quote, "I've made a lot of adjustments. Early in spring, it's been a battle trying to find something that feels comfortable and can be consistent and easy to repeat at the plate. Hopefully things are starting to trend towards the next step in the process." Then we have Victor Martinez ending his first batting practice of spring with drives over the fence. That shows signs that he's getting even better, and that opening day, according to Jason Beck of MLB.com, looking more realistic opening day for Tigers designated hitter Victor Martinez as he rehabs from knee surgery. So I will tweet it and share it on my Detroit Sports page and in my Detroit Sports group, just in case I'm not sure. I played skeptics here. I'll share it on Google Plus. So that's all the Tigers talk for this show. We have a trading update in terms of the Lions. The Lions have traded 3rd and 4th round draft picks for big defensive tackle Haloti Ngata, Ngata, from the Baltimore Ravens. The media and the fans say that Haloti Ngata is Ndamukong Suh's replacement, as Ndamukong Suh apparently has signed with the Dolphins, although I heard from a source on Twitter that the Dolphins are nervous of signing Ndamukong Suh to that $114 million contract. I haven't got any word that it was official yet, but I'll assume it's official. So anyway, welcome to Detroit. Welcome to Detroit, Haloti Ngata. Also want to get to an article about Detroit Lions ticket resellers suing the city of Detroit after being stopped and cited by the police by Khalil Al-Hajjal on MLive.com. A group of 5 people filed a federal lawsuit against the city this week after being stopped by the police and cited last year for trying to resell Detroit Lions tickets outside Ford Field. U.S. District Judge John Corbett O'Mara in 2006 declared unconstitutional a city ordinance that banned ticket holders from reselling in public places. The plaintiffs in the latest class action complaint claim Detroit police are trying to work around that 2006 ruling by citing ticket resellers for vending without a license. They claim violations of constitutional free speech, equal protection, and property rights. As we view the complaint, 10 pages. The matter involves a similar issue, and the same defendant, City of Detroit, has decided in Bradley Carroll versus the City of Detroit. There are me see. Here. There's a link to the complaint file, which has 98 items of jurisdiction and venue. The city has until March 30th to file a response. The plaintiffs include Neil Brand of West Bloomfield, an attorney who is arguing the case, Stephen Freeman of Royal Oak, Jermaine Carter of Detroit, and Thomas Crace and Candace Walters of Utah. Brandon Freeman had 9 extra tickets to Detroit Lions games. They attended on December 14th, 2014. That was against the Minnesota Vikings, and tried to sell them to passersby for $25 each near 36th District Court, according to the complaint. District Court records showed that Brandon Freeman were charged with vending and impeding pedestrian traffic. Both pleaded not guilty last week and are due back in court March 20th. The plaintiffs believe the number of class members in the case could eventually reach 150. Carter was trying to sell Lions tickets at prices below face value on December 16th and December 6th and December 14th, 2014, when he was cited. You'll read more of that in this. You'll read the rest of this because I got to get to the Pistons right about now because time's running short. Pistons versus Lakers tonight at 10:30 on Fox Sports Detroit and Detroit Sports 105.1, DetroitSports1051.com, and on the Detroit Sports 105.1 mobile app on your smartphone. Download it with just 2 for free, just 2 megabytes. It is all it costs you of memory. Exceptionally detailed analysis written by Ben Quagliata. Pistons versus Lakers, sacrifice, sleep, ? Exceptionally detailed analysis. The Pistons have the worst current losing streak in the NBA, dropping their last 6. These included winnable games against Charlotte, Washington, and New Orleans, and theoretically an impossible game to lose against New York, which they lost in double overtime. The second worst streak in the league. The Lakers were losers of their last 5 against a strong schedule including Oklahoma City, Charlotte, Miami, Memphis, and Dallas. To them, the Pistons represent an easier game on the schedule, a chance to recover and bounce back with a win against a team reeling since the trade deadline. The Lakers roster is constructed in the Hinkie model. That is a hodgepodge of mismatching D-League level talent to NBA Development League level talent. The roster isn't quite so bad with actual recognizable NBA players such as Nick Young and Carlos Boozer, but it really says something about your intentions when neither of those guys are starting for you. Wait until you see the starting lineup later. You might need to Google a couple of them. Their last game, a 193 loss to Dallas, including their 11th different starting lineup this season. Their strength is definitely in their interior presence as they out-rebounded Dallas 47-33. Jordan Hill, Ed Davis, Tarek Black, the casualty of the Josh Smith-Houston experiment, and Carlos Boozer are all glass eaters, rebounders. So the notoriously poor boxer outer Andre Drummond will need to be on his guard tonight. Detroit's last game was a 108-101 disappointment to Charlotte. A half-decent crowd of 15,673 witnessed a total and utter collapse in the fourth quarter as the Pistons led 84-78 after 3, and at one point late in the fourth had only scored 6 points, finishing with 17 as they were outscored in the final stanza 30-17. Reggie Jackson did some positive things, including 25 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds. However, 21 of those points were in the first half, as Charlotte switched Michael Kidd-Gilchrist onto him, nullifying his impact. It says a lot about the offense lately that one man can be tightly marked and our attack turns to excrement. In the first half, Detroit scored 62 points. In the second half, 39. Reggie needs to do a better job of getting his teammates involved, especially in the fourth quarter, so that the offense, especially in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, so that the offense doesn't become a predictable one-man show. Trivia time. The Lakers have had 6 4-point plays this season. Nick Young has 4 of them, while 2 others have 1 each. Who are the other 2? And answer is always after the community question. Players to watch: Reggie Jackson. See default. I hope he plays more efficiently and control this game. Answer: just pass the ball earlier, please. Lakers, Nick Young. Our bench defense is pretty repulsive, and the fact that likely Caron Butler or Jody Meeks will be guarding Young. Update: Nick Young is out, so I guess Ryan Kelly. Last time Pistons-Lakers met, December 2nd, 2014, Lakers won 106-96. That was when the Pistons had Josh Smith, who had a good game without looking at the shooting percentages. He had 18 points and 10 rebounds. DJ Augustine, Caron Butler made solid bench contributions with 13 points and 11 rebounds, respectively, combined. Jordan Hill killed the Pistons with 22 points and 13 rebounds. Now this sounds homerish here, very homerish. Honestly, in the last 6 games, I predicted wins, losses, and draws, and they've all been losses. I don't know what to do. Pistons 35, LA referees 271. That Pistons 35, LA referees 271. Does that sound professional?
Crybaby! How long are you going to keep whining like a child? You're just a crybaby, a coward!
That's the soundbite message to Ben Quagliata right there. Thanks for nothing on the score prediction, you putz. Joel Anthony is questionable with a groin injury. Carlos Boozer, ankle injury probable. Kobe Bryant with a rotator cuff out for the season. Brandon Jennings with an ruptured Achilles tendon out for the season. Steve Nash with a back injury out for the season. Ronnie Price with an elbow. Randall with a leg. And Young with a knee. They're all out. I'll make a comment on that article after I end this broadcast. Reggie Jackson leading struggling Pistons to the unsure future. By Vincent Dieringer on March 10th, 2015, early this morning at 5:35 a.m. A short sample size has yielded a possible worst-case scenario for the Pistons. Can they pick up the slack and carry some momentum into the offseason? Reggie Jackson was ecstatic when he was traded to the Pistons over the February 19th NBA trade deadline. After living in the shadow of Russell Westbrook, the time had come for Jackson to prove to everyone, especially in Detroit, that he was the right player he thought he was. Stan Van Gundy assured that it was his team, and that no matter what, Detroit would look to retain his services once the season ended. The Jackson-led Pistons are now 1-6. They're 2-6, actually. since those trades, even though both Jackson and Prince were benched and ineligible to play that one game against the Bulls from Chicago at the Palace. The recent losses compounded by the lack of consistency on either side of the ball. Detroit has practically managed to play itself out of playoff contention after swinging a trade that was supposed to do the opposite. The fault isn't solely Jackson's, though. Contavious Caldwell-Pope and Jody Meeks continued to be non-factors on offense. Tayshaun Prince and Andre Drummond have never been offensive juggernauts. That's not true. And there's only so much Greg Monroe can do to keep the sinking ship that is the Pistons afloat. Tayshaun Prince and Andre Drummond are better than that. So are KCP and Jody Meeks. Coach Van Gundy is at a loss for words to explain the funk his team currently finds itself in, but puts his faith in Reggie Jackson trying to handle the reins of a team that has seen more roster moves this season than previously accustomed to. SVG knows that part of the reason for the team's struggles rests on the lack of chemistry between the players taking the court, but Jackson and the Pistons aren't calling it quits yet. Per Jeff Robinson at the Detroit News, quote, "We don't think we're out of it yet. We just gotta," Reggie Jackson's words, quote unquote, "We don't think we're out of it yet. We just gotta turn the season around now. We can't keep giving games away. We feel like we've given away 4 of the last 6. Reggie, you've given away all of the last 6 after winning 2 straight. Anyway, we'll continue to get better. Time is not our friend right now. We just gotta put our foot down on the gas and make something happen." Unquote. Something most definitely needs to happen. With the Pistons sitting 5 games behind the 8th seed, there's only so many times the team can lose before they miss out on yet another playoff appearance. In a season that has jolted Pistons fans up and down, some semblance of a postseason appearance may help mellow the fan base of the organization before what could be considered one of the most important free agencies in recent franchise memory. The trade deadline has left the team with more questions than answers, but it could go a long way to answering a few of them if the Pistons buckled down and made an actual push for the playoffs. Reggie Jackson is the new de facto leader of this team. Let's hope he ends up bringing as much success to Motown as he previously envisioned.
I think we can close the logo now.
Thank you very much, little man. That's going to do it for Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 145. You can leave comments on here once it is archived. Enjoy the Pistons game, everybody. If you're listening on the radio, stream it online at DetroitSports1051.com and on the Detroit Sports 1051 mobile app. If you're watching it on TV, it's on Fox Sports Detroit, Channel 35 on Charter, Channel 663 on DirecTV, and Channel 430 on Dish Network, which is cheaper. TTFN, ta-ta for now.